Premise. She is with WCLK 91.9, the host of The Local Take. The Local Take with Kipling Premise features discussions about critical issues facing Atlanta and profiles of organizations doing important work in the communities served by WCLK. She is a graduate of Howard University and Clark Atlanta University and has a long career in public and commercial media. She is a veteran facilitator for StoryCorp's Atlanta studio and has written extensively on global and local initiatives for a number of publications. Welcome, Kipling. Thank you. And I'm not going to read the bios of our past presidents, but we do have on the panel Charmaine Gordon-Milner, Deanna Hamilton, CJ Bland, Eric Harrison, and Kevin Stacia. So,
I think this is a great meeting because it'll let you know why it's important to become a member of the National Black MBA Association. So Eric, we're going to start with you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do professionally?
Sure. So Eric Harrison. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am a Florida A&M University graduate for my undergrad as well as my MBA. I tell you that I'm happy to say that as today, I am retired. From PepsiCo. So I spent 20 years at Pepsi fighting the boys on North Avenue. And, I was hired, quite frankly, I was hired to bring Pepsi into the mindset of stop playing for second place. And so I could not have asked for a better opportunity to work for an organization that truly wanted to compete in a market where the expectations were low, but the opportunities were big. And I don't believe that the success I had at PepsiCo could have been remotely possible had I not had the training, the network, and the family support from the board as well as the National Black MBA.
Thank you. And Ms. Ward?
Yes. Hi everyone, Charmaine Ward-Milner. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. I went to college here at Clark Atlanta University. Yes, it was called Clark College back then. But majored in economics, got my MBA through the Executive MBA program at Kennesaw State University. My career has basically been in thirds, a third in technology, a third in marketing, and a third in corporate philanthropy. A lot of people know me from my past position, which was I spent over 10 years with Georgia Pacific and their foundation, managing grant making, corporate relations, and volunteerism across the country. But more recently, my new position, I'm Director of Corporate Relations for Georgia Power, and I manage all of our diverse segments, African American, Hispanic, Asian, LGBTQ, women, and seniors, sponsoring events across the state of Georgia. They help us to educate especially the underserved and the minorities on environment, on energy initiatives, to be able to build collaborations around energy issues and to enhance the brand in those diverse communities. Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Good. Can you hear me?
I was going to introduce you as Hamilton.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am this from. Please forgive me. Go ahead. Okay. You are okay. So you can hear me. Yes. Awesome. Good evening.
good evening.
Good evening. Again.
Energy is important. What you put in the universe is what you get back.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
There we go. I am Deanna Hamilton, and I am currently Vice President of Corporate Partner Development for National Black MBA Association, NHQ. I am born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, but I have my peach. I have been here 19 years now in Atlanta. So as Mayor Reed would say, I've earned my peach. I am a graduate of University of Michigan and Walsh College in Michigan and a finance degree in both undergraduate and graduate. So I'm an accountant by trade. Most people don't know that. But I am an accountant by trade. I spent 19 years in corporate America. My career started with FCA, what you know as FCA now. But in 90, it's Bryson Corporation. And then I progressed to General Electric, which is now GE Energy, what you know now, but used to be Power Systems. And then Origin Partners, which was a vendor of the Coca-Cola Company. And I was the Vice President of Finance over Marketing Execution there. So I am happy to be here and looking forward to share with you the benefits and value proposition of the association.
Thank you. And next is Mr. Bland, C.J. Bland.
Thank you. My name is C.J. Bland, and can you guys hear me okay?
Just went out. Your mic went out. Your mic's
Move up closer.
All right. How about now?
That's better.
All right. My name is C.J. Bland. I'm actually from New Orleans, Louisiana, so I'll always be a Who Dat fan, no matter how long I've been in Atlanta. I've been here almost 23 years. So I'm a dual degree graduate from Dillon University in physics and electrical engineering from Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and earned my MBA from the University of Houston. So I started off my career mainly as an engineer, a reactor service engineer in Newport News, Virginia. And I moved to Chicago to work for AT&T Bell Labs. And from there I went to NASA in Houston, so I'm really heavy on the technical side. And I transitioned into professional services. I actually left corporate as a sales director at AT&T. I know quite a bit about data back in the 90s when it was really taking off the internet. And from there, I actually left corporate America and launched my own company, Minority Professional Network. And what we are, we're a diversity-focused recruiting and staffing, training and event planning firm. Some of our clients have included the U.S. Department of State. We've had probably about 60 diversity recruiting events from the State Department in the last 12, 13 years across the country. We provide leadership and professional development training for Walmart, a number of their leaders. And many of our clients use our job board. So we actually have a job board, GoGetDiversityJobs.com, that I launched back in 2001. And we've attracted over 1,500 clients from 46 different states. And I also do local consulting from time to time. I've had consulting gigs, most recently at AT&T again, in the district of Verizon Home Depot. So it's good to be here, and I look forward to sharing.
And next, Mr. Stacia.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I am Kevin Stacia. I'm originally from, and it's good that we're on the same end. That's right. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We both went to Southern University, didn't know each other. But we were at Southern University. I got my undergraduate degree in business from Southern, and then moved to Atlanta to go to the MBA program at Clark Atlanta University. While I was at CAU, got an interest in some of the human resources related electives and coursework that I was taking, and so that kind of spurred my interest in HR. And from there, did an internship with Scientific Atlanta at that time in corporate HR. And ended up working for them full-time after I left the MBA program at CAU. Was there for several years and then moved to Hewlett-Packard Company, where I worked in corporate human resources and in multiple HR roles at HP, and then the spin-off of HP, which was called Agilent Technologies. And so I spent my career in human resources. And then into the HR career, and now I'm in higher education. So I work at Georgia Tech in the Scheller College of Business. Yeah, it's all right. Work in the College of Business there at Georgia Tech, where I'm in the MBA Career Center. So I serve as a career advisor for our full-time MBA students at Georgia Tech, and as well as manage a portfolio of companies that recruit our students. So glad to be here as well.
And Mr. Stacia, we'll take the next question. A lot of members may not be as familiar with you. Could you share when you were the president of this chapter and what were some of your accomplishments?
Okay. Man, you're going to start on the old head. I am actually very proud to have been a past president of this organization. I was president actually in 87 and 88. Yes, man. I know I was the first 16-year-old president of the organization, so that's a record that I don't think will be defeated. No, I actually, really enjoyed that experience, and I think one of the things that I think we accomplished, which was really on the scale now seems maybe very different. Atlanta obviously is the largest chapter for National Black MBA Association now, and actually we were among the top 2 in my tenure as president. However, we were trying to get to 100 members. And so, at that time, it was all about getting to that 100, exceeding 100 so that we could be among the chapters, which were New York and Detroit and Chicago, and us were really kind of the forerunners. And it was all about how many active members that are paid their dues could actually, be on your rolls. And so that was really an accomplishment when we exceeded 100 members, and then we were able to expand our programs and our network beyond that.
And Mr. Bland?
And I was actually president in 2001, 2002. So I think I was still in the grade school. I was really probably one of the younger presidents at the time that when I was leading the organization, and had a lot of energy. I became involved in student affairs, membership, corporate affairs, and I was even seen to become president. I actually was drafted and recruited by some of the members as someone who was dedicated, committed to the organization, and someone that can help us pull us back together. We had some politics going on at the time to try to get us on the right track. So I think membership at that time, I think we became the largest chapter when I was president. I can't recall. I know that my successor, the Janet, continued to grow in Indiana. But we really were very active, stood at that lectern for a couple of years. And even after my presidency, I was actually appointed to the Atlanta Regional Commission to serve for like 9 years of political appointee. So great organization, and just happy to be a part of it and have contributed in some fashion.
And Ms. Hamilton?
Very similar to CJ. I was president in 2007 and 8 as the organization was going through some transition. And to ensure that the organization and the work that we had put in remained viable, I kind of stepped up and tried to make sure that we stayed the course. I joined the organization in 2004, blindly in 2004, after a phone call with Janet Toms, and became a lifetime member of an organization I knew nothing about. And it was the best investment I have ever made. I went on for 4 years as Director of Corporate Affairs, and then Vice President of Administration for 2 years, and then President for 2 years. So it was an 8-year run. It was an amazing run. We did grow membership. I want to say probably then it was about 650, 700 members. And then Charmaine was on the board with me in 2006, and she was recruited.
That is very true. I met Janet Thomas, who's not here. We were in the Coalition Under Black Women together, and she said, when we have another board opening, I'd like to invite you to be on our board. I didn't know anything about National Black MBA, and I was like, sure, people say things like that all the time. But in 18 months, I got a phone call from Janet that said, we'd like you to be on the board as Director of Marketing. And it has just been a great ride ever since. I was on the board under Janet as well as under Deanna, and had no intentions of being president. And again, Deanna was like, we need you to step up, like she did step up, and I did. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And as president, I'll have to say, I had a wonderful board, and I stood on some really great shoulders. And so we were able to make some accomplishments that we still talk about today. We were the first chapter to ever go over 1,000 members, period, in the history of the organization. We started some programs that have been institutionalized. One of them is Inside Look, and that is something that's not only been done in Atlanta, but other chapters and even headquarters has looked at it, and that is a unique recruiting reception for our corporate partners. And it's a very profitable program, to say the least. And we've done very well in Atlanta with it. Another thing I'm very proud of is the holiday soiree, which we started with the generosity of Ms. Barenko and Mercedes-Benz. And now the new leadership has just, they outgrew it, busted out the seams, and now it's one of the hugest events in Atlanta during the holidays. And then probably the other thing I would say is I was chapter of the year, president of the year, not chapter of the year, president of the year. So that was a great accomplishment for me as well.
And Eric?
So I have a little different story. Charmaine used to be my neighbor. So I really didn't have a choice. So in 2009,
see how this all works.
So in 2009, Charmaine asked me to join the board and come interview. And mind you, so I didn't share you before. So before I worked for Pepsi, I worked for Eastman Kodak. And so I launched a digital camera here for the Olympics in '96 and carried it over to '97. Then I started working for Pepsi Cola. So I was pretty proud. Pretty not so self-aware. And so I went to the interview with Deanna and the board and Charmaine, and they were asking me why I should be on the board, and I was telling them it's like abundantly clear. So they shot me and told me no. And advised that I become a co-chair. Now, mind you, like I'm trying to get into the C-suite, so he said, "Well, you should be a co-chair and get the coffee and flipboards, get the copies of Staples." I did that. Best decision I made. So in 2009, the recession hit, and Charmaine and Deanna asked me to be part of a Professional Development Symposium, which was the first one launched at Home Depot. African Americans were disproportionately impacted during the recession. And many of the jobs that they had lost were never going to come back. And they were ill prepared to get back into the market and to compete against, quite frankly, their white counterparts who had a distinct advantage in regards to cronyism, unconscious bias. And so that event has grown into something that is a signature event for our chapter in regards to taking our members and giving them an opportunity to have one-on-one coaching, resume review, and have a real conversation, which unfortunately oftentimes in our jobs, we don't get that opportunity. They smile and tell us that we're doing a great job, but actually you don't get the promotion, you don't get the reward. So I did that from 2009 to 2012, and I was voluntold to be president. Again, added inside look. They pulled me to the corner and said, "You will run." And I had a laundry list of reasons why not. And to be very, very honest with you, it was my mother who basically said, if we can see a African-American president in my lifetime, I was born in 1934, then what the hell are you going to do to make a difference? And you have no reason why not to. And then pick a number. And she said, you need to pick a number on the number of lives you want to change. And so we landed on 6 billion, which is a big number. But you can't impact 6 billion lives unless you're part of something that's bigger than you. And that's what this chapter was. And it's been the best opportunity for me, personally and professionally.
So Eric, that leads.
You got it.
I'm not big on that. So
accomplishment.
So she wants. So we all right. So
we tried for years. Are you kidding?
We did. So we were very fortunate. The hardest thing for me though was coming behind Deanna and Charmaine. That was tough. But we did get chapter of the year twice. We crossed. We got to 2,000 members when we had the conference here in town. And we raised a significant amount of money. I probably had, if not one of the strongest boards that we've had in a long time in regards to fundraising and actually stepping in the gap when someone either had family or a job. Really, having someone's back was really important. So I think the building of a family, we couldn't have done that without the members in the board chapter of the year. And then we almost made. This is a big deal. I think we were at $365,000 one year. Sony helped me out, which was a pretty big number in regards to corporate contributions.
That is very good. $365,000. That is a big number. That leads me to the next question, though. How do you think the other roles that you had in the organization help you to lead the organization, and that leadership not only in the organization but in your life?
It's a great question, because starting in the director of Career Network, actually getting out and spending time with the members and understanding some of their circumstances were very different than mine, and the roles that they had. They were challenged with trying to understand why they weren't getting promoted. That helped me somewhat reflect and to provide some counsel. Also, you get a committee, and being able to manage a committee without authority. So they're not on the payroll. So you're trying to influence someone to spend their time with you to drive an initiative for the chapter versus being with their family. That is a heck of an accomplishment and quite a commitment that you're asking for them. And then for them to not only do that once a month at a board meeting, but every time you meet the co-chair, and then you have the membership forums, and then you have the community events because you got to have some representation. That enabled me to have a degree of influence within my organization. So from the time that I was Career Network to the time I was president, I went from a junior manager to a vice president. And so when I left PepsiCo, I was running the south and the southwestern part of the country, which had the lowest share for PepsiCo. And so the challenge was, how do you get someone to buy and purchase your product when they were born and raised red? And I got that from the board on how to, sometimes you win when they say no. Because it doesn't mean really no, it just means not now. And most importantly was, how do you have a conversation and not always be talking about either PepsiCo, but having a chance to connect and communicate about what's a business or a personal need for them. Because what you'll learn when you sit on the board is your board and your members, they have to get what they want first before you as a president get what you want. And that's critical, because you can't do that professionally or serving on a nonprofit board without really understanding mission first, members, board, Harrison. I come last.
And this